Hi, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Hi, I'm Lori Jeskowitz. How is everyone doing today? Hi, I'm Lori Jeskowitz, Body Mind Coach. And woohoo! I'm so glad to be here. I have been not on here as of late, and I've recently received all kinds of inspiration and thoughts of things that I want to come in here and share with you. So, I'm going to be doing this a little bit differently where I'm going to be like working in stages that lead us to the next step into the next step into the next step through various Facebook Lives. So, the first topic I want to talk about today is how you're feeling is actually just feedback, right? So, let's say that, and it's feedback from your body. It's the part of you that connects your brain and connects that with your body, because it's two components coming together. As a body mind coach, this is how we in our society, in our culture, we oftentimes rely so heavily on just the brain, right? Just this brain part of us. And we have this whole other, so here's the brain part, right? Just this upper area. And then we have this whole other part of us that's in our body. And I see so often that people aren't even consulting it and listening to the body, or if the body is giving them messages, they're not sure what they're to do with it. They don't know what it's saying. They don't know what to do. So oftentimes what ends up happening is they don't do anything. So, which I get that. It makes perfect sense. When you don't know what to do, what do you do? Typically it's let's just wait and see how that works out, or something to that effect. But anyway, so how when you're feeling really good and the day is just flowing and everything just seems to be lining up and falling into place, and you're making all the green lights, and traffic is light, and you're just like, wow, everything is just opening up for me here. Everything is just going really smoothly. This is really great. When that happens, begin to ask yourself, how is my body reacting to this? Am I standing up taller? And how am I feeling right now? Am I got a little pep in my step? Maybe you feel just light and relaxed, and life is good, life is amazing, life is all these fun things, because that's what life is, right? It's supposed to be. Not all the time, but that's typically when you think of, you want to love your life. You want to love what you're doing. You want to be inspired by your life. So it's those feelings of when you're really enjoying something, how you react to that. And what I really want to do is just draw a little bit more attention to the body aspect versus the brain aspect. So, when you're feeling good, or a great song comes on, or it's summer, or the sun is shining, or I think we all just feel so much better. It's just we just open up. And it's you just get to exhale, as versus when it's the opposite of that, of when you're feeling stressed or exhausted or run down, begin to notice this is the brain saying, I'm tired, or I'm exhausted, I didn't sleep good last night, and what's going on, and why do I feel this way, and why is everything not going correctly, why am I hitting every single red light, I'm gonna be late. Notice what your body is saying to you in those moments. And actually, if you're in front of a mirror, or just you could probably feel yourself beginning to actually close off from your body. It's just you are just not feeling good in that space. It's you went from I feel amazing, and I feel light, and I feel like I can just go and do all these things, and you're looking forward to when you get home, versus oh my God, I have to do these things, and things aren't working out, and how am I going to do this? How am I going to make this work? I don't know how to do this. And your body actually contracts, and it actually goes into flexion, where we kind of close in on ourselves and we cut ourselves off from. Notice how when we're open and light, we're in this alignment, right? Your body and mind are connected and on the same page, almost like there's this alignment. And then when we come this, we actually disconnect from ourselves, and we actually we go right up into the brain, where we gotta just do all the things and figure everything out, and what am I gonna do, right? So the good news is this is how your body gives you feedback. This is only feedback. whether it's I'm exhausted, I'm tired, or it's I feel amazing and great. This is feedback. And the purpose of the feedback is to let you know what's happening. So I even went ahead and on dictionary.com, I looked up the definition of feedback, which is a reaction or response to a particular process or activity. So literally, your body is telling you its response to a particular process or activity. So your body is always telling you, hey babe, what it likes and what it doesn't like. And it's when we're not in this alignment and when we're not connected in that space that we just see it as like, okay, just shove that feeling down. I just got to get through that. Just like, I know I have a migraine, but just go take my Excedrin, go take my ibuprofen, go do this. Okay, I have heartburn. Okay, just go pop some Tums, and instead of like, hold on, what is my body trying to tell me now about this process or about this reaction that I'm having or the situation? How can I use my body as further information? So working in accordance with what my brain is telling me and what my body is telling me. Your body actually tells your brain how to respond. Your first reaction is actually in your body, and then it travels up your vagus nerve, which it connects your pelvic bowl, which is where your intuition lives. It's called your enteric nervous system. So it all hangs out down there, and it travels up via the vagus nerve. It touches your heart. It like literally, boom, it connects your heart, and then it travels up to your brain. So you actually have these three brains. Your heart is actually a brain. It has an this electromagnetic force around it. Like your vibration can be felt outside your body. And that's when you're like, ooh, I can tell the energy of that person. That's what you're feeling. Like if they're feeling stressed or they're feeling frantic, you're feeling it. If you feel like, ooh, that person seems like really super cool, I want to go say hi. That is how you're feeling that. That is like what is happening. You are picking up on their energy, their vibration. Like you've heard, they got bad juju. Oh, I didn't like that vibe. Oh, they had this energy. It was just like wonky or whatever, right? You've heard, we use these words every day in our English language. We use these words every day, but it stops there with the words. We don't tap in and tune in to like, how is that? Where is that information coming from? And how can we gather and like get both sides of the story and not just the story that our brain is telling us of, that's going to be really hard to do. Oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. It just keeps you cycling and spinning versus when, okay, this process that I'm doing, this reaction that I'm having, I'm feeling really good. And you're in that alignment so that you can be like, what am I doing right now? Why do I feel good about this? And typically I'm going to give you like a really big thing here because this is the piece that, well, actually, we're going to hold on a second because I want to go back to where we all use feedback for other things. So let's say you're on Amazon.com and you want to purchase a product. Say there's something, I don't know, I just bought this new lotion. Oh my gosh. Can I just share with you guys for a minute how great this lotion is? So it is Bath and Body Works. It's their aromatherapy blend, and it's the Love scent, and it's rose and vanilla. Oh my gosh, I love it. But at first I was like, I don't know if I want to buy this because I don't know if it smells good. Like we're on Amazon.com, like there's no scratch and sniff. There's no way to be like in the store where you can like experience the product and then, oh, I like that, I'm going to purchase it, right? So we rely on the feedback. So see how your brain did that? Like when we were in the store and we got to touch it and smell it. And then from that feedback, we were able to make choice of what we actually wanted to do, whether it was purchased or not. This is the same thing that your body is telling you when you feel stress or not. So when we're on Amazon.com, we go to the reviews because we want other people that have purchased the items feedback. So why do we use it to make purchases and to buy the things that we need? But when it comes to our body's feedback, we're just like, oh no, just ignore what's happening here. This is like, happiness is fleeting. It lasts a few moments and then it's gone. And then like maybe people put things on their schedule. Like I'll have this to look forward to get them through the yucky, muddy shit. Honestly, because that's what it is, right? Let's just call it what it is. You're not liking something about your job. You're not liking something about what you're doing each day. And the big thing with that is you're not aligned. It's typically what I see most often is it's not aligned with your values. So that's another thing that feedback can be telling you of, because this is when you're doing things that you enjoy, you typically feel better. You typically open up and you typically are like, oh, I feel good. That feedback is directing you to what you value. That feedback is like literally telling you, do this. Can we do more of this, please? Right? And then like the brain kicks on, like, you don't have time. You don't have the money to do that, right? So it's this constant feedback. But when you're cut off from it, they work against each other. And it can even feel like this internal tug of war where your heart's pulling you one way or your body is pulling you one way and like your brain is pulling you the other. And like what happens? Like you don't go anywhere. You just stay freaking stuck. That's that internal tug of war because both sides are just fighting each other and just holding on and like, no, I'm not going to let you win. And it's when you can just like relax and just be like, hold on a second, let's just try something different. Let's listen to the feedback. Let me include my body in part of this process, because what your body is doing when it tells you like, oh, you like that, follow that. That's where your next step is. Oh, this feels good. You're enjoying that. Follow that. What is a step you could take? I just had a conversation earlier today with someone and they're like, here I am, a body mind coach. And this person's like, you're going to think I'm totally crazy, and I'm like, probably not. I'm not going to think you're crazy. But I just had this feeling about this person and I just wanted to be like, yeah, let's work together. And I'm like, that's feedback. That's exactly what inspired like this part of this Facebook Live that's feedback. Like that's your body saying, yes, go do that thing. Yes, follow that. Even when it seems crazy, even when it doesn't make logical sense. Because again, your brain is all about logic. It has to look a particular way. It has to unfold like this. And we have to follow this plan. We have to go figure everything out. And like how many times has your plan ever worked out the way that you planned it? How many times? Because like I know for me personally, that answer would be never. And I know of many of the clients that I have talked to yesterday, just yesterday talked with the client and I didn't even bring it up. And she's like, did you ever notice like how plans never work out the way they're supposed to? And like we spend so much time like mapping it out and like, let's create a plan. And then like by step 2, it's already off plan because the things that we didn't even know were available change the whole plan. It's like those books when you read, you can alternate the endings. That's so much how like having a plan is. It's going to end up with an alternate plan. It's not going to go that way, typically, in my experience especially, and those of my clients. So this feedback, when we tend to judge, feedback as good or as bad, they're not. It's not that, even when you're exhausted and drained and you feel like your job is sucking your soul, that's not negative, right? Like that's not, it's like telling you don't like something. That's it. It's just like, oh shit, this is not lining up with your values. And your job is to find out like what this is how I help. This is where I help my clients. Like, what do you value so that you can honor it? Because when you are honoring your values, you just lighten right up. You just are like, oh, like this feels amazing. So again, like this feedback, it's not that it's good or not that it's bad. Both are leading you to your next steps. Both are showing you the way to go. It's just, which are you going to notice? And which, so sometimes how like you get like little pebbles from heaven, and then when you ignore that, like then you get a rock from heaven and it's like this bigger thing that happens, and then you get like the boulder. Like this is the thing that like that feedback is there to help you with. So when you do get those little pebbles, you're like, whoop, this is not working for me. There is a bigger plan here for me, and this is me with this feedback is just helping me get there. This feedback is just giving me the next step. It's going to get me back onto the track, or it's shifting the path to align you with what does make you feel good and what does line up with you. So I just want to grab my notes and make sure I didn't miss anything. So really, it all comes down to your choice of what you do with the feedback. It really is. Even when you feel like you don't have a choice, you do. Your choice is to disconnect, ignore it, plan things to look forward to so that it makes your day better. but you're constantly like chasing the future instead of enjoying the moment that you're in and all that's there for you. So it keeps you on like just always chasing, always looking forward instead of being right where you are and receiving, hey Maddie, and receiving everything that's meant for you here. Because when you're not in the present, that's where your messages are. That's where your body comes into line. That's where you can begin to ask the questions of like, what do I really enjoy? What do I really have fun doing? This is where your creativity comes in of like, oh my gosh, like my husband and I, we just bought for us and for our two of our kids, this paint by numbers thing that we saw on Facebook. Like I love like art. I love art. I just purchased some art from a girlfriend. I love art. And I recognize that my skill set is not in art. I realize that, stick people are as far as I'm going to get, and maybe like a house with a door and a pathway. That's as far, I mean, like it is not good. But when I saw this paint by numbers that my husband found, and there's these beautiful pictures, I was like, oh, my body wants to do that. My body wants to like just chill and relax and focus on creating something pretty that I ordinarily wouldn't be able to do, because I just, that's not my strong suit. And that's okay, because then I get to buy this from this other person whose strong suit is creativity and art and painting beautiful pictures. So that listening to my body being like, oh, we could do that. That looks like so much fun. That inspires your creativity. That makes me feel light and open and in alignment. And yeah, so it's those things that you become aware of by tuning in and tapping into the present moment in your body, that with the feedback that it's giving you right then and there. It's like pulling you forward. So that's what it feels like. I don't want to get like all up in my phone, but it's like literally pulling you forward. Oftentimes you can't explain why. Oftentimes it feels like, why am I doing this? It doesn't make any sense. Do that. Just follow that. Like that is your body calling you forward. That is the feedback. Your intuition is like this third set. I call it the third set of feedback. Like, so you have like your stress, you have like the overwhelm, you have like, oh God, things aren't going right? So there's the one kind of feedback, because I'm not going to call it negative because it's leading you to where you aren't going to feel those. Then you have the feedback of, oh, I feel great. Oh, I feel amazing. Oh, I feel on fire. Like, oh, like, especially if it's like that feeling, like after you work out, do yoga, maybe after a meditation, maybe after you go to the gym, maybe after you go for a walk, maybe after you're out in nature, you get that feeling of feedback that you feel really good. Well, the other kind of feedback I call your intuition. You may call it your gut instincts. You may call it, I don't know, whatever you call it, like this inner knowing, just this thing that's pulling you forward. That's also feedback. And when you get used to tapping in and asking your body, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling wonky? Why am I feeling great? What do you like about this? What don't you like about this? How can we change this? How can we expand this? How can, you begin to ask these questions by tuning in and tapping into your body so that you can receive the messages that your feedback has for you, and namely your intuition. So once you begin to really dial in and tune in to the messages, to the other side of the story that your body has. And when you come into alignment, you and your body and your brain can work together to then listen and follow those next steps, because we don't come with a roadmap. We don't come knowing like all the time like what our passion is or what we want to pursue or follow. We don't know that. And it's like, oh, I got to find out my passion. And it's like, you're going to find out your passion by following those pulls forward, by following those things that really light you up, by following those things that you really want to do, and by listening to the times of when you don't feel good and when you do feel stressed of, okay, how is this situation actually working for me to help get me back onto the path, or maybe it's part of the path and there's going to be a person that you meet from that whole experience. We don't know, but there's something there in it for you. And when you become aware of the feedback your body is giving you, that's where you'll receive your next step, your next answer. So feedback, summing it up, it's not bad. It's all directing you, whether it's negative, or if it feels negative, or if it feels positive, if it feels good, if it feels contracted. It's just helping you get on track to where you need to go. It's or it's leading you to the people or situations that are there that are being put in your path to help you. When you feel called to a person, go to them. When you feel like just that draw and pull, that's the other kind of feedback, your intuition, the one that doesn't make logical sense, the one that you're like, why the heck am I doing this? Or the one where you say to yourself or to another person, you're going to think I'm totally crazy, but this is, what I'm feeling. That's your gut. It doesn't make logical sense. It's your heart. That's the part. That's why we need both. That's why we need to connect our brain and our body and make them one, so that we can get both sides of the story, so we can know where to go, so we can know our choices. People ask me all the time, how do I know if I'm making the right choices and decisions? How do I know? This is how I teach you how to do this, teach you how to align your body and your brain so that you begin this conversation and you take it to the next level and you keep deepening so that you just know what's next and where to go and who the next person is, and your life starts to get really freaking even more amazing than it already is. So that's all for today. I have another one coming tomorrow. We're going to be building in steps here and in stages. What is tomorrow? Friday? Yeah, definitely want to do it tomorrow. It's all going to be on noticing how appreciation and the feedback work together. All right, everybody, take care.